Well, hello. Welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm your neighborhood pyrography artist, Valerie, joined with my hubby, Jason.
Hubcap.
And today we are working on, I had to do this very quickly because I'm an artist. I run behind on everything. It's a barn owl, George. We took the picture of him at Bearzona. It's done on the Fluid 100 cold press paper. We're going to give the cold press paper a try and see how that works for us. Look at the differences and how it burns and what the outcome is. I figured it would be fine cold press wise because there are so many feathers with the owl and they range in color. So hopefully that'll actually accent the owl. And I will do up a follow-up video finishing it up. And I think with this one, I'm going to use Brusho to add color to it.
Eve says, ooh, cold press.
Hi, Eve. Hi, Paul. Hi, Grace. Hi, everyone joining us. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to start with the Coalwood medium ball tip, and I think we'll start with the eye area. I do still have my pattern attached. Hopefully this doesn't throw everything off, so that I can go back, because this was a very quick transfer. Don't think I've ever transferred this quickly in my life. All right, so heavy duty on. Now this is not going to burn as smoothly. The white of the paper on lighter burns is going to show through. Is everything sound good? Look good? There we go. I'm testing on just the scrap piece of watercolor paper. It's not the same paper, but do we need to zoom in a little bit? Now George here, he has very bright yellow.
Grace says 10 out of 10, and Eve says, oh no, it's Grace says good on my end, and Eve says 10 out of 10.
Awesome.
Audio, visual.
Oh, good. What about zoom?
How hot are you burning on that?
I'm set at almost a 5.
Wow, it's really dark.
I'm trying to make sure I fill in the tooth because the owl's pupils are black. I know they say there's not black in nature, but in this particular case, these pupils are big and black.
Paul says zoom's good. Grace says good where you are for me.
Okay. Now I am getting a little, because of the heat setting, you can see a little bit of yellowing from the radiating heat off the tip. But since this is going to be yellow anyway, it'll act more like shading and give it a little bit of depth, though I did knock it down to 4.5. And around here is black. Well, actually, it's more of a dark gray, like really dark gray around here. So I think for our first layer, I am going to bump it down below 4. Over 3.5. Because remember, we don't have to go straight in black just yet. Okay, maybe a little hotter. This was a very quick transfer. Hopefully the lines make sense to everybody.
Well, as long as they make sense to you.
Oh, that's true. I am bumping it back up to at least 4. I am interested to see how well the brush show works after the paper has been burned on. I think it'll give a really pretty effect.
Dorothy Smith is here. She says, hello, Val and friends.
Hi, Dorothy. And hopefully Joshua and Jeremy and Maddie will be in, or at least watching. I told Josh I was going to do the family crest today, but when I figured out the copyright issues, I figured it was safer to stick with something I've taken a photo of. And what's funny is Josh picked the family crest because he wanted to give me something hard to burn. And I would say this one is harder than the crest.
Well, Josh isn't asking that question, but I'll ask on his behalf. Why?
Why?
Why is it harder?
Because there's so much more detail to pay attention to.
I see. Personally, I probably would have had a harder time with the crest, but I don't draw straight lines very well.
Straight lines can be a little bit of a problem. And that's more about moving your whole hand and arm. Kind of like when you're drawing with a pencil. So how is everybody doing today? What's our delay?
I have no idea.
Oh.
The tablet won't pull up the video.
You need to click on another video and then go back to that video.
All right. I was going to do that, but I wasn't sure if this was muted.
It is.
Okay.
I was good. I muted everything first. So yeah, I'm still on camera.
Okay.
And I am still trying to follow the direction of the feathers. Barn owls have a lot of soft detail feathers in a lot of area. And so I'm trying to make sure I follow the direction of those. Really pretty. I don't know. They're not. They're almost like baby chick feathers. Down feathers. That's the word I was looking for. See, this is.
We're on about 12-second delay right now. And Eve has a question.
Yes.
Does burning on cold press flatten the paper's texture?
Where I've burned it dark. Ooh, hot. Where it's burnt dark, yes. Where I've got it lighter, no. And that's why you need to decide what kind of paper you want to burn on for your subject. For me, I think for the feathers, the cold press is going to help with that texture versus the hot press.
Paul says, you've just made me realize it must be hard to use a ruler when burning.
I don't do it. I think some people do. I don't. I kind of need to turn.
I think you'd want to use like a metal ruler.
Yeah, I don't want plastic melted to the tip.
Plastic or wooden rulers on fire.
Is that angle okay for everybody? Because right around, he's got some beautiful eyeliner. I want to get that in there. But maybe we should zoom in so they can see the texture. Can you do that, please? It's underneath.
This one, right?
Yeah. Let's see how. Yeah. A little bit more.
Say when.
Hey. That should be good.
Okay.
I hope. It's the angle, I think, when you pull it forward. See, with the cold press, with me just lightly brushing the tip up against the paper, it's leaving the texture.
So here's a question from me. So then if you were going to be planning on burning something in particular, would you choose like cold press or, hot press if you are going to go for different kinds of effects? Like, I guess the question is, do different kinds of surfaces lend themselves better to different effects? And would you choose something different to burn on if you're going to try and make things easier for you, or if you're like, well, I need to do this, so I want this effect, so I need to drop to burn on this kind of surface?
You don't have to. I think I will do that more often in the future as I'm testing these papers and finding out their pros and cons. It does look like I don't think I would want to do a flower on this paper. I think I would choose hot press paper for the flower because it would be a smoother burn. But for this owl, it's definitely helping me keep some kind of texture. And I think a little bit more interest than if I did it on hot press.
Science. You're getting science involved.
Well, it wasn't intentional. It'll be okay. Your brain will live.
I don't know.
See,
Paul's asking when, Jason, but I think I've lost the context because I don't know what he's talking about. I get notoriously sharp memory. Or not sharp. Opposite of sharp. I'm absent-minded. That's what I'm trying to say.
But you're my absent-minded.
Yes, that is correct. Valarie, right.
Yeah, keep it up. See right here, I'm slowing down. I don't always have to change the temperature. It's more of me changing the speed. Let's see here. This is darker along here. And I know there's hair, feathers.
See, I think for me that would be oh, okay. Paul says when I was zooming, I said say when.
Oh.
And Paul said when, Jason. Okay. Thank you. That won't haunt me now. I'll try and figure out
what you missed.
Yep. So I think for me, like for like regular media, like anything like painting or graphite or anything like that, you don't have to worry about when you leave your tip of your tool down, you don't have to worry about it getting darker and darker, because when you stop moving, it's the friction that causes the change. So it's the difference with pyrography. You get it in airbrushing because obviously if you leave your nozzle in one place for too long, you're just going to build up a lot of paint. So but here, I mean, there's even more precision involved because there's no lever involved. The tip is hot and it's going to burn, and you literally have to watch how quickly or slowly that you burn because it's going to continue to mark the paper.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, it'd be like a lot of paper on fire because.
But I showed that the paper takes more heat than wood.
That's true. I would test those limits.
Let's see here.
I'd be looking at my reference and I'd have the tip on the paper, and then all of a sudden
I do pay close attention as to where my hand is, and I don't know if you've noticed, but a couple of times when I've stopped and we're talking, I'm making sure my hand is angled towards me, because if it burns me, then it'll get my attention.
Yeah, assume so.
There have been times in the past, though luckily it hasn't happened in a long time, that I've been burning a pattern and got so relaxed that I got tired and my eyes started closing. And I have a couple of times touched the wood with the tip and kind of burnt a hole in it. It's been a while since I've done that, but
So you should not fall asleep while you're burning.
no. If you're tired, do not burn.
It's probably good advice.
Well, because it can get, especially like stippling, because it's so repetitive, it can put me to sleep. And so I have to be super careful with that.
You probably shouldn't do any stippling on live streams.
Well, because I'm talking, it would be fine. But if I'm not talking and I'm focused and trying to get something done and I'm tired, then yes, I have dozed off a bit and oops, I was able to incorporate my little oops so that nobody but me knew.
That's good.
But it can be scary.
Michael Ann says hello.
Hey, Michael Ann. So have you not ever, even with the pencil, done a lot of stippling and kind of started dozing off?
Well, let's just be clear. I despise stippling.
Oh.
Not that I think that it's beautiful, and I envy those that can do it, but there's something about it that just, I don't know, just makes my feet hurt.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not confused when other people's brain hurts from like too much math or whatnot? Jason's feet hurt.
Yeah, that's like my first warning sign because my feet hurt and then my brain starts to shut down and then I go to sleep. So
So you do go to sleep with stippling?
Well, yeah. Well, I had a friend of mine whose name is George, that like the owl here, who gave me a book on string theory and like quantum physics 10 minutes in, and man, my feet were killing me. And then like 5 minutes after that, like I couldn't keep my eyes open.
The fact that your feet hurt. Hey, Bubba. Bubba's in.
Oh, hey.
Means the kids are watching. Hi, Josh. Hi, Maddie. Hi, Jeremy. Oh, I needed a drink. Okay. Jeremy, I explained earlier that for copyright reasons, I couldn't do the family crest for you, but if you were just looking for something difficult to challenge me with, this is a good one.
Paul's asking, do you have any special nibs for stippling?
Nope. I just use the ball tips. And depending on what size of the stipple. Though in the past, when I didn't have the ball tips, I used what they called the writing nib to do that. Let's see.
Yes, Paul. My brain is in my feet.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
You're the one who brought up your feet, not me. I didn't do that one. Okay, so we have the base of the eyes in. I'll probably use a shader pen a bit and go in and just put some depth in there. I think this time we will try out the razor tip shader that I have. Now he doesn't have any highlights in this eye, but it doesn't feel right not to have them. I mean, there's a little bit right here. I'll take this one away. In fact, Do a little erasing.
Jason is asking, how can there be a copyright on the family crest? It's our crest.
Oh, I agree, but the pictures I was looking at on Google are created by companies to sell on their products, so copyright applies. I would have to design our own crest, and I thought about doing it, but didn't have time to create that last night.
I guess I know what you're doing, huh? I'm pretty sure Josh is going to be asking that pretty soon.
Where is it?
Yeah, thank you, Paul. He says you're right. I wasn't a ton of a penitent. Val is far from sorry.
Hey,
True that.
Remember, I'm the one with the hot pen.
That's true.
Let's see here.
Very good.
You know what? Before I go any further, I got my custom tip from Colwood. I got my second incarnation of the tip. See the best way for you to see it. And I have not tried it out yet. So let's see how well this one does. I'm just waiting for it to heat up. It feels better holding it at an angle. Much easier. You see, I can just use the tip of it to get in the small hairs. You know, our family crest doesn't make sense. I was thinking about that last night. It has a stag on it. But the meaning of our name is something to the effect of like wolves or something like that. So why wouldn't we have a wolf for the Connell name versus a stag?
Maybe it's a sneaky wolf that's dressed up in a stag costume. like wolves that dress like stags.
I don't think we're doing Little Red Riding Hood.
But then you'd think that there'd be like cross-dressers in your family history.
Oh, we're so not going to have that conversation.
Roger that.
We're open to all in the world.
Well, yeah.
Well, I know, but I don't want it to cause problems.
Oh, no.
I already get a dislike here and there for whatever reason. I have no idea why.
Jason says, getting close to 1,000 subs. Must plan something special for 1,000 subs.
Well, I actually have a giveaway going on right now. But you're right. I do need to plan some kind of special live stream.
And I'm going to have a sandwich.
Where did that come from?
Well, something special for 1,000 subs. It's going to be a sub sandwich, though.
Well, It's a good thing I love my Jasons.
Don't make it weird.
Why not? We're here to talk about your feet.
That's true.
Let's see here. See, I'm trying to, stay on camera. I'm trying to get some of the base dark hair feathers in. They're almost actually hair-like.
Thank you, Jason. I do deserve a sandwich.
Yeah. Good thing we have a kitchen.
God, I really want a sandwich right now.
Oh, you gotta wait.
I know.
I don't think anybody wants to. Are we?
No, I gotta stay on the job.
Yeah, let's see. Where do I want to go?
Paul says, design your own. Bought ones don't have enough meaning. He says crest, not the sandwich. Although I think it kind of applies to the sandwich too, Paul. And say Dorothy asked, what did you have for breakfast? Raw hamburger? Hey.
I am going to try. I received this, I bought it a couple months ago, and this is the razor tip spoon shader. I haven't tried it yet, so I think we're going to give it a try and see how well it does. I haven't brought out the razor tip in a while.
Michael Ann says the eyes are looking good.
Oh, good. Let's see here. I've got it set on 4, and we'll see how well that. Whew. Yeah, oh, that special smell when you first turn on a tip.
Yeah, Paul's agreeing with the design. I believe that's what he's agreeing. I mean, I'd like to, because I know what my family crest is, but in comparison to our family histories, your family history is phenomenal. All these historical figures and stuff.
Not that many.
Well, compared to mine,
that we know of.
My family history is derived from those who lived in the upper end of the swampy village.
That was a long time ago. Let it go.
That's where I come from.
You do not come from there.
You obviously didn't see where I grew up. Oh my God, it's true. Okay. We were surrounded by
crisis
swamp.
On line stream. No crisis on line stream. So I'm actually kind of getting a different color. That's odd.
Really?
Yeah. Not sure why.
Is it? You think it's something to do with the paper?
I guess no, because it's not too off. I can see the difference.
Well, I can't, so you're gonna have to explain it to us.
The brown is just a shade. Just a shade off from like this brown. And it should be the same metal because it's the nichrome. I can't think how to pronounce it. Wire. Mm-hmm. That's what they use in all tips. It might be a different brand, but the type of wire used for burning is the same.
Well, your vision must be calibrated to a different level because I really honestly can't see it.
And you probably can't pick it up on the camera either. Maybe it was just still needing to heat up.
Paul says, my family history apparently goes back to some dude called Adam who lived in a big garden with some weird trees in the middle. That's awesome.
Let's see here. I don't know that this spoon shader, at least for the area I'm working on, is the best choice.
Why?
It just doesn't feel right. And that part is hard for me to explain. As you're burning, and you get to know your burner and your pens, and how the tips that you tend to gravitate more to, how they work on different bases, you can feel the difference. And I just don't know how to put that in words.
Doesn't feel right, huh?
It just isn't, yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I think part of the thing is with this tip, it's not a polished tip. Polished tips don't burn quite as smoothly. You can polish your own tip, so that's not a big deal. In fact,
how would you do that?
Let me turn this off before I burn anything. I have this is the straw that comes for free. Haha, get it on the screen. Comes for free when you buy a burner through Mountain Wood Carvers. With my promo code VAL, self promo. I don't get anything from it, but you can. This side is light sandpaper, like really like 1,000, 800 to 1,000, and this part is leather, and that's aluminum oxide on it. And you rub your tip along it, and it polishes it and makes it all nice and shiny. Let's see if I'm cool enough yet.
Maybe you ought to do a video on that sometime.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna do a video on it.
Because it sounds that I think it would be helpful to know like the process and sequence.
Let's see here.
Paul says, from where I am, the spoon shader appears to burn a kind of sienna shade, and the other one is more on the umber side.
That works.
Wow. That's good looking out, Paul. I could not see that from where I am sitting. So
see, the tip was the color that you see inside. I don't know how well. It's kind of brown.
Yeah.
So just rubbing it a couple of times, it's clean.
Mm.
And I'll just need to polish it a little bit more. You can also use a polishing stone with a Dremel and some of the aluminum oxide, not powder, but paste.
Yeah.
And what tip am I going to go to?
I would imagine for any polishing compound, you want to be careful, make sure that, because it is heat, that once you get done polishing it, you get all that residue off.
Yes.
So it doesn't make
we're gonna
smells.
Yeah. Well, it'll burn off too. You just don't want to wipe. You just want to wipe it off as well as you can. I have to send this in today. I knew I was forgetting something. I have to send in the nibs burner today.
Oh, okay.
I knew I was forgetting something. Means I have to undo it from everything. And let's see here. Now you're going to hear the electricity that we heard last week.
I can only hear it a little bit this time. It's a lot less noticeable.
I have it turned down a little bit.
Ah.
If I turned up the heat and put more pressure on the paper, it would be louder.
I see.
See, this is not completely black. It's like a bluish slate gray. So I don't want to go too dark.
Because Paul can see well. He says he has a really good astro telescope. He knows where we live.
Oh no.
He asks, is that polishing thing anything like sheepskin?
No, it's just a piece of leather. Like if you flip your belt and it's the rough side of the leather.
Looks kind of fluffy though.
It's because I've run tip across it.
Oh, okay.
And so it lifted it. I mean, I think it's a little thicker. Actually, this right here is the back of a belt that I used to use.
Okay.
I'm just dropping everything.
What did you throw on the floor?
I have pencil.
I see it.
Okay, so these are not black. They show black on my pattern, but these areas aren't black. They are a very dark gray, just like right here. Turn that off. See, maybe this will help. Maybe we should zoom in a little bit because I want to show them.
More
please, yeah, and then we can zoom back out.
Okay.
Because I want to show them how.
How much more?
Oh, keep going. I won't get in there. Get on in there. There we go.
Max zoom.
Max zoom. Okay, so this is me just running the tip. And you can see the texture of the paper. So if you're looking for a smooth burn, you're not, unless you go super high heat, you're not going to get it. And then like, think of colored pencil. It doesn't fully get down into the tooth.
Mm.
And so it's rough. Granted, you can use mineral spirits to smooth it out, but we can't do that with this.
But in this case, the texture is working for you.
I will probably, there's not as much, it's smoother here. So I will go back over it, probably with a little higher heat and a different tip to smooth it out. We're not stuck with it. This is just the first layer, but I wanted to show the difference with the cold press paper because you can see the texture doesn't come across as well as I'd like. You can go ahead and back it out now, please.
How far out would you like? More?
That's good.
Okay.
I think we're good there.
We're still on it's about 9.5 second delay.
Okay.
Eve says the texture is super nice.
Good. So yeah, you just have to be aware of it. It's not a bad thing. You just have to decide if that's what you want for your piece. And this part needs to be darker anyway. Right here at the bottom.
Grace says, yeah, I really like the effect of the texture on this. I do too.
Now it would work with, like tree bark. What other textures would this work well with? See, I'm going to have to heat it up and kind of push down to get down into the tooth. Now I won't get rid of all of it. That's just annoying. My pen should not sound like that. Definitely have to send it in today. Tomorrow latest.
So is this one that you're going to, is it going to be a full burn, or are you going to do any watercolor on it?
It's going to be a full burn with brush show. I'm going to, remember the brush show I showed you where it took the pigment particles? And when I hit it with water, or it touched water, it dispersed into different, that's what I'm going to use on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to use it in the background, but I'm going to let some of it overlap onto the owl. So the owl has a little bit of funky coloring going on. Not everywhere. I'll mask some of the white off, but that's kind of what I'm thinking for this one, because I think the brush show would work better with the cold press paper. Because there's more divots for the pigment to get down into, and I think it'll just look better. Yeah, not liking the tip there. Okay, we'll come back to that. His beak. Now we got to get really close up next to George to take photos. And I really wanted to pet him, but we couldn't. Let's turn the heat down, and I'll try some texture on the eye over here.
What did you turn it down to?
3 from, it goes on 5.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see here. How do I want to go? Right along this burn line there is a highlight, so I don't want it too dark. And we do need, I don't know how I'll show that, a little bit of shading. Let's see here. I don't want to do too much on the eyes, but because I'll use probably regular watercolors for the eyes. And then the brusho for any other place I put color. A little darker than I wanted there, but gotta be okay.
So on our last stream, we were talking about speed videos and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you decided? Or have you decided yet?
It's not hard to do the speed videos if I do them based off videos I've already created. That's not hard at all. And I think I'll do those. It's just speeding up what I've already created.
Mm.
In fact, I probably should do that for the live streams too, since they're so long. Some of it off. Yeah, you're not going to get as smooth of a burn with a cold press, even at a hot setting. That's a little one. So many pins to choose from.
That's just your tragedy.
It
It's
is.
not everybody else's.
This is true. One of these days, I'd love to give away a burner to somebody who can't afford one.
I'm sure that they would love that.
We do have the giveaway going on for the Chartpak markers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, just for those in the U.S., and that bothers me. And so far, we've got likes, but people aren't commenting. You got to comment, or I don't have your name to put on the list. I don't think some people realize that. We can't, it's not like Facebook. For YouTube, you can't see who has liked or disliked a video. So I can't keep up with it that way. There has to be a comment, even if it's just a smiley face.
Eve says, in regards to your pens, she says it's like having a zillion paint sets and brushes.
Brushes.
Yeah.
Zillion brushes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This part is darker, and I haven't gone dark enough. I might have to use a smaller tip to get in where I want to.
I think I have too many brushes. Like, I end up using only a handful.
I think, regardless of what kind of art you do, I think it gets to a point where there's certain things you just like the best, and that's what you stick with.
That's true.
Let me darken this up some. See, this is working better with the cold press paper. The ball tip is doing a better job than the spoon shader.
Mm.
So, I think that's what I'll be sticking with for a lot of it.
Now, from a technical point of view, the ball shader is more mass, so it's likely to remain at a more constant heat.
Yeah, it does. It does still lose heat because you're touching it to something. But yes, it does hold the heat more.
Maybe that's
more even. Maybe, yeah, and maybe that's why. But I also think because of the shape of the ball, it's easier to get into the texture. Into the... Alright, got that side in. Where are we going to go? In fact, we can look at the difference that this does. You can see the texture. And I'll go in and darken the parts that I wanted to darken. And hopefully that'll translate right.
So how long do you think that this piece is going to take?
I think I'll be close to 20 hours on it.
Jeez.
Because right here, most of my lines are just outlining the big dark areas.
Yeah.
It's not taking into account all the little dark areas.
Right. I do the same thing. I work the same way. I landmark out the large features and then I work on all the connecting ones and the shading.
This won't be like feather for feather exactly like George because, yeah, that would just drive me crazy.
Oh no, Eve has to leave early.
Aww. Well, I'm glad you stopped by, Eve. You're always appreciated. Let's see, I'm trying to, because this part is underneath, so there's white feathers sticking out, and we should be able to use a knife to pull out some of the white feathers, the hairs. It really does look, some of these look more like hairs. And I was going for a look that kind of had a little bit of attitude.
Eve says, looking forward to seeing more of the owl. Have a great time with it. Thanks, Val, Javi, and lovely chat.
Thanks, Eve.
Bye, Eve.
Let's see here. That comes down, but how far?
Well, he does have kind of an attitude.
That's what I was going for.
He looks like an angry Sean Connery. It looks like he's channeling Sean Connery.
Really?
Right now. Yeah.
Where do you see Sean Connery?
I don't know. I just see it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, goes to show all our brains work differently.
Yes. And feet.
And feet. Yeah, I think for the cold press, the ball tip, at least the larger ball tip, skims better over the paper, and I can get pretty good fur shape.
So for someone who had to choose, like if they're like, I need a shader, would you recommend a spoon shader or a ball if they could only get one?
They could only get one. I would say the ball tip. It's the most versatile. Granted, there's so many different sizes. Razor tip has like, I don't know, 10 or 20 different ball tips.
Mm-hmm.
And of course I have them all. Colwood has 3 and Burnmaster has 3.
Of course you have them all.
Yes, I have them all. Because there's tiny, tiny ones. And then like Razor Tip has some really big ones. I don't think I have any. They're in my case. Well, see, that's one of the medium-sized ones. A little larger than the one I'm using. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go.
Exactly, Paul.
I think we're going to work a bit on the ear, maybe. There we go. There we go. These are a medium. The areas are a medium gray.
But you're going to change them into a medium brown.
Into a medium brown. Let's see, that goes up. Trying to find everything. Because I transferred this pattern so quickly, my brain didn't have time to kind of get used to it.
Is that something that you normally get acquainted with the pattern? And
well, you figure by the time I go to burn, I've already drawn the pattern twice.
Oh.
And because I used some settings in Facebook last night trying to make it quicker, I did not draw in every single line. And then in transferring, I didn't transfer every single line that I saw.
I see.
So I'm not as acquainted with it. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing the pattern. I just think it works better for me to go faster if I know where it's going.
I see.
Like these connect to his eyebrows. And he got some eyebrows going on right there.
Mm-hmm. Just let you know, we're down to our last 10 minutes of the stream.
Already?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's going by faster than I'm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. And it doesn't feel like I got anywhere. I know it doesn't look like I've gotten anywhere, but I'm getting a good basis down. And it's hard to talk and burn.
Well, I think like a lot of, I think for me, I like seeing the groundwork lane. Michael Lynn says, yeah, that was fast. Yes. I think having the groundwork is, really important and fascinating. And you've already got his expression and personality, But I like other people. I would like to see, the process of the, especially the finished piece. See, in the past, you've worked on things, and I've been able to kind of go off and focus on other things. But here, I'm staring at it, so now I'm impatient.
Now you're impatient?
Sure.
See, right here, I'm just barely touching, and the texture does come through. But I do think with this one that the texture is helping.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think actually it'll mean maybe a little less work because of the texture of the paper.
Well, that's good to know. If you're doing birds, then maybe cold press is the way to go.
Depending on the bird. Like for a raven, I would not use cold press for a raven. Not at all.
Because of the texture?
Because of the texture. I would use the hot press.
I see.
Because then I would have to, the raven's feathers are very smooth and they don't have, like this owl has got all kinds of color all over the place, whereas the ravens they have their color, but it's different tones of black.
Yeah.
And so in trying to do a raven, it would just be very frustrating on this paper to do it.
I see.
So I would not do that. Right now I'm just trying to get just the basics in. And then I can go back and detail it. In JPC Art, he's not here. He was the one that requested the owl. And I don't get to tell him that I finished the book of Court of Thorns and Roses.
Well, if he watches this after,
he'll know.
He'll find out. Paul says the texture works really well here. I think it's the raptor feather stuff, like you say.
And I'm trying to think with some tree bark, at least medium for animals. I wouldn't use it for a horse. And if I keep going, I'll start sounding like Dr. Seuss. I would not use this for any fur or hair that is meant to look smooth. Tree bark, bumpy things. It'd be good for toads and frogs that don't have smooth skin. It'd be good for that. And Joshua, if you're still watching, I will try to come up with a family crest that we can do. In fact, if you want, if Dad will help you, you could sit and draw part of it. You could draw it out and I'll burn it. How's that? Hopefully he's still watching. You draw me a picture and I will burn it for you. That should be interesting.
Well, since he's like, since they're talking about designing the family crest, and take some artistic liberties, like like riding a Pegasus with a flaming chainsaw.
I don't know that we're that special.
But that'd be awesome.
Uncle Jason's giving you ideas, Josh.
Paul says scree and rocks and bears, coarse fur.
Yeah, rocks would be good.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of like that idea to have maybe once a month have somebody draw something and I burn it.
Yeah.
I kind of like that idea. I'm going to come back to this year. I think I need to update the lines a little better in the drawing. Let's see here.
Michael Ann says, I wish my parents were artsy. It would have been so cool.
I think it's fun to have artsy parents. As long as they're not making you do your art the way they do it.
Yeah.
I think that causes the problem.
What, like overachiever? Like overachiever? You call that a cat? Do it over.
Yeah. Or do it my way. I can't wait till our Jessica's old enough.
I know.
In what, a year or two? Start playing with art supplies.
Yeah. In regards to the having somebody draw something and you burn it, Grace says that's a really cool idea, Val.
As long as they give me permission to do it.
Michael Ann says exactly, Val. See, Paul and I are on the same wavelength. He says that he's with you. Hey. He's with me on the riding the Pegasus swinging a chainsaw, which is awesome.
If I can't tease my hubby and my mod.
Hubcap.
You're not.
Thank you.
Okay, you're my bling.
What?
I thought we already discussed this. Oops.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? I said you're my bling.
Not even functional? I don't protect the tire and just bling?
You do both.
Oh. That doesn't sound convincing.
I'm burning.
You got like 2 minutes left.
I'm burning. I'm focused. I will do an update video. Actually, burning this probably will be somewhat of a speed video because it is going to take so long.
It's going to be a lot of textures over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. See, I don't mind doing partly speed for that very reason, because there is a lot of repetition. Where am I at? There.
Before we close, you should zoom out and give everybody a good look at what you've done so far, because I think it's really nice.
Go ahead.
Really, it's a good. I think that's far enough. Maybe one more in. Yeah,
that works.
It really captures his attitude and his presence.
Off comment.
Okay, Paul. That makes me feel a little bit better.
You're my eye candy.
Oh, you are reading the comments.
Yes, I saw it. That's why I was laughing.
I am bling.
Okay. I have lost control of life. This is where we're at now. Now, in all honesty, you could just fill in all the darks, just pretty much one shade of dark, and you'd still have your owl. But because I'm me, there has to be more detail.
40 hours later. Yes.
And the eyeball is done. Yes. Okay. So again, I will put an iCard or an in card or some kind of card that links back to the Chartpak video. And if you like, comment, and subscribe if you're not subscribed to the video, and you're in the US, my brain is like shifting gears. You're in the US, I'll throw your name in the drawing. And on August 2nd, during that live stream, I will draw a name for the winner of the Chartpak markers. Everything's in the prior video. And if you're just new here, please hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button and comment and share. All of that helps grow our community. I appreciate every one of you. Happy burning, guys. Bye.